glow about you today.
I do thank you for noticing. I'll tell you.
Why?
Because I went to the Big Brother finale last night.
You did not.
It was the best finale in 14 years that I've been watching it.
How so?
The person I wanted, it was very emotional. The person I wanted to win won. I just was really invested in the people this season. I got to see them in person, and I mean, I don't get excited about, like, celebrities. Like Garth Brooks, Kevin James, they do it for me, but that's it.
Interesting, interesting.
But seeing them last
Interesting
night,
roll call.
yeah.
But you get around, you know, whatever it is.
Get around them. I was just so excited.
Jemima and Lil Dusty and what, I don't know anybody who's on Big Brother. So, okay.
Those are not their names.
Okay. So who won?
You should back check. Ian won, but I saw him. He didn't see me, but one of the other guys, he was like, "Hi, are you Sarah Underwood?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm such a fan." And I'm like, I'm a fan of you guys.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah.
Isn't that the best?
It was really cool.
Oh, boy.
Good night, yeah.
Well, that's great. You know, I've tried with Big Brother, but it seems like too highfalutin, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's strategy, and people get into it, and there's Big Brother After Dark and all that. I want it to be just super trash. I want it to be Real World Road Rules Challenge. I want it to be Bachelor Pad.
Bachelor Pad. You got me on Bachelor Pad. Real World Road Rules Challenge, though. That's kind of...
The best.
Bad take.
It's the best.
Are you sure?
The Battle of the Seasons just started last night, Sarah Underwood. And let me tell you something. It's the old Las Vegas cast and some of the new Las Vegas cast. They had to, like, everything involves them climbing over something and then they fall into water. And they're always drunk. They're always drunk and doing it. And it's just, I love it. I can't get enough.
I could get on board with that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There should be, like, a fantasy league.
Why don't
and I would join it.
Talk about reality shows all day?
For
I
the
could
rest
just
of the
go
hour?
on. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would like nothing more.
Actually, they're telling us we have to run down the top things on the web.
Well, all right. I guess it's our job. Let's go around the net.
What you doing there? Was that dancing?
Yeah, it's dancing.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I checked. It's totally dancing. It counts as dancing.
That was real good, Dave.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you.
Good dancer.
Yep.
All right. Well, as long as it doesn't weird you out that the next big R&B pop diva is a young boy from the Philippines, then you will enjoy this karaoke rendition of I Will Always Love You.
Okay, keep that kid away from Bobby Brown, first of all.
Yes.
That is our culture's job.
Do that. But, I mean, was that... I can't even believe that was really him singing, right? Like, that sounded like Whitney Houston.
It did. It's the always that gives it away.
What?
It's the always. I will always love you. That's how you know it's not the act, because Whitney never did it that way.
She didn't.
She probably maybe once or twice did it that way, because she had some tough years. But yeah, he goes always, and that's how you know.
That's how you know. Okay, good to know.
What bothers me about that whole thing is the crowd, and we have them back here on this. Like, how could you be less excited? I mean, this is like the greatest talent of the 21st century. This dude is working on a cigarette and a lollipop at the same time. Doesn't care.
Multitasker.
Doesn't care. This kid's reading a piece of paper. He's got a towel on his head. This guy is lost in a memory that has nothing to do with what's going on here. This kid is the most incredible talent, and they don't care. It's like they're a dime a dozen in the Philippines.
You're right. What
talents
is
like that,
about?
and I know that's not true.
You know what, though? I'm thinking that maybe they're not as impressed by this because that's only the second best rendition of that song in the Philippines, you know.
say sample, sample, sample behind that horrible demon? What is it a sample of?
I don't know, but that's what you're confused about in that video?
That is what jumped out at me, yeah.
You are an interesting man, Dave Holmes.
I know it.
I will tell you, though, Dave.
What, Sarah?
You can do some really interesting stuff with ping pong balls.
Oh, I wonder where you're going with this.
Well, not where you think.
Okay, good.
Here's some awesome science.
Great. Impressive.
Very cool.
I'm going to say that teacher is wildly unpopular with the custodial staff. Right?
Yeah.
They don't like that guy.
That's a good assumption.
Yeah.
Oh, explosions. Just all day, just explosions, you know?
Yeah. Love a good explosion.
Oh.
And I learned something.
What?
I guess.
What
I don't
did
know.
you learn?
That when you explode under ping pong balls, they go everywhere. I guess that's what I learned.
You did. I think you took away from that video what you were supposed to.
Clearly.
Well done.
Clearly.
All right, and finally, if you don't recognize the star of this next clip, just know that her name is Parker Posey, and she knows a lot about acting, including how to accept an Emmy Award.
My name is Jan, Jan. Just act naturally. I decided to start teaching an acting class in Emmy speeches because the most important part of any actor's career is the Emmy Awards acceptance speech. You see someone in the audience like, hey, Bryan Cranston, I love doing theater with you at Steppenwolf.
But I don't know Bryan Cranston.
It doesn't matter. Just say it because it's the Emmys. Where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore.
Ah.
Jan really prepares you to lose.
I'm a loser. I'm not going to show it. Nice.
And the Emmy Award goes to Jan.
I'm having a heart attack. I'm Jan. I was just acting, naturally.
Who is cooler than Parker Posey? Nobody. There's nobody cooler than Parker Posey.
Are you a Parker Posey fan?
I am a Parker Posey partisan. I absolutely, yeah, that was some on-the-fly wordplay. Yeah, I love her. I think she is the greatest. The absolute greatest. If you haven't seen Party Girl, you must.
Okay, you heard it. Parker Posey. Dave Holm wants to
and it's
take
Emmy
you
weekend.
Home. Yeah.
It's Emmy weekend, too. The excitement is in the air. Do you feel it?
I gotta be honest, I don't really know what the Emmys is for.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I don't either. I have no idea. I guess it's TV or something. I don't know.
TV?
Yeah, probably something.
Okay, well that could be good. That could be good.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch it.
All right. Well, there you go. That's around the net.
Yay!
Yeah.
Still ahead, Russia has got an absolute crap ton of diamonds that they've been keeping a secret.
Yes. Plus, the best therapy for anxiety might be on your DVR. Don't go anywhere. Summer may be over, but AOTS is still bringing the heat with special guest hosts like Horatio Sands, Michael Costa, and Ben Schwartz.
Welcome back. I love that roar. Brian, can I have one more roar? Yeah! I love it. There's nothing better. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Spain's most popular painter is back in the news, and I am not talking about Picasso. I'm talking about Cecilia Jimenez. Just in case you don't know who the 80-year-old virtuoso is, she's the one who tried to restore this Jesus painting and ended up, yeah, remember that? And ended up butchering him worse than the Romans did. Sorry. I'm going to confession, like, immediately after this show. I'm Catholic. Look how amazing that is. And the best part is she looked at that and said, yeah, no, that's good. I'm done. I'm done. It was so great it became one of the best internet memes in recent memory, showing up in places like Bob Ross's studio, on Burnt Toast, and, of course, on the Titanic. Yeah. In fact, the meme was so popular, tourists were starting to come to the church that the painting is in just to see it in person. But I guess this isn't the first time people have paid to see art that's a joke. Talking Spider-Man, turn off the dark. Turn on the dark, people. which I saw on Broadway. Act 2 opens with 10 minutes of the Green Goblin doing crowd work. I'm not kidding. Hey, hey, it's your honeymoon? All right, congratulations. I'm not kidding. All right, where was I? But now, famous Renaissance woman Cecilia Jimenez is lawyering up, and she wants royalties from the fees the church owners are charging visitors.
What?
Church has only made $2,600 in 4 days, but her lawyers still want to cut, and they'll probably get it because she got some very good lawyers. Yeah. In movies, James Bond's nemesis Goldfinger tried to throw the price of gold into chaos, but in reality, that's exactly what Russia is in a position to do with diamonds. That is because they are sitting on enough of the glittering rock to quench humanity's thirst for the next 3 millennia. What do you think of that, Sarah? You like it? It's a good thing they don't have some sort of insane supervillain running the country, right? Well, this isn't a new thing for Russia. The diamond supply was formed 35 million years ago when a meteor plowed into a graphite deposit in Siberia. Now there's a 62-mile-wide diamond-encrusted crater. It's enough diamonds to supply generations of NBA players with engagement rings and please don't divorce me rings forever. Can we get that? Now, before you go running to Zales expecting a big deal on cheap diamonds, there's something you ought to know. They're much harder than regular diamonds, so they're for robots and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Now, let's take a look at Borderlands 2 with Jessica Chobot. Oops, sorry. I did that wrong. They're for harder stuff like electronics factories, arming Soviet killbots with super hard diamond swords, or as loofahs for a substance even harder than crater diamonds, Vladimir Putin's torso. Oh. Yeah. Therapy's expensive and drugs do weird stuff to your brain, but it turns out there's another way to turn your soul-crushing depression upside down. The next time you get a case of the frownies, put down the Prozac and turn on an old episode of your favorite TV show. A study at the University at Buffalo, I said at Buffalo, found that sad and stressed out people were able to improve their mood by watching reruns of their favorite TV shows. Apparently, old TV shows provide a beneficial social surrogacy, since hanging out with TV characters is less complicated than hanging out with real people. One researcher said real people tend to make us feel worse because you have to put up with someone else's needs. I wonder if that guy's single. In other words, if any of you out there are feeling down, don't worry. By watching our familiar faces on this program, you're actually going to start feeling better. And the best part is, you don't actually have to put up with me in real life. Only Sarah has to do that. Right, Sarah? Sarah?
What? Dave, I'm trying to watch my Sex and the City rerun.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. See? See? She's trying to improve her mood because she has to hang out with me. And now, good news for you, Apocalypse fans. Borderlands 2 came out this week. Here is Alex Albrecht and Jessica Chobot to tell you why you need to pick it up.
In a world wrought with destruction and despair, with enemies around every corner, only the man with the sweetest deeds shall reap the rewards.
Or a woman.
Or a woman.
Or a woman. Guys, we are super excited because we've got our grubby little hands on Borderlands 2.
If you are a greedy little bastard like myself, or if you love violence,
like myself,
you are going to love this game.
Without further ado, Borderlands 2.
In 2009, Gearbox launched an apocalyptic shooter into the gamosphere that drove players to a frenzy, Borderlands. Set on the outlaw planet Pandora, you and a band of treasure hunters set out on a quest to unlock an ancient vault in a race against an evil corporation to unearth the ultimate weapon. This game offered an outstanding 4-person co-op adventure across a gorgeous cel-shaded backdrop, a reported bazillion weapons, and with that, a new blockbuster franchise was born. Gearbox looks to up the ante with more of the same shoot-'em-up goodness in Borderlands 2.
Welcome to Pandora, kiddos.
At the heart of this game beats an RPG shooter. Imagine if Halo and Diablo got together, had sloppy sex, and made a baby. What you'd get is a shootin' loop.
This game is quest-based. First-person shooter, quest-based.
So a lot of run out, get me this, turn in that.
Kill this, I don't like these guys took my babies.
How does that keep from being overly redundant, though?
I would say amazing writing. This game is hysterical.
I wonder what it's like to have a belly button.
So here we go. Boom. What do we get? Awesome XP, tons of weapons.
And now would be a good time to talk about weapons.
Which is good because there seems to be an endless amount of them. They did a calculation as to how many guns, and it was 876 gajillion.
Oh,
so that is
a legit
technically
number?
That is a legit number. That is a technical number.
It seems like not only do you have shotguns and SMGs and pistols and all that jazz, but there also have quite a few that drop that have special abilities like corrosive and explosive and electrical, and all of those actually affect different types of enemies.
Yeah, so they have this new one called Slag. So the Slag guns basically cover them in this purpley goop that then causes them to take more damage.
Loot-wise, too, it doesn't seem like it exclusively is limited just to, like, ammo and weaponry.
Shields,
it's shields.
There's grenade modifications.
Lots of money, this thing called iridium that you need to use to also buy other things.
Yeah. The loot just flies out of these poor people. When you kill these guys,
they
have fat pockets, and you're basically shooting them in the wallet and pockets. At its heart, Borderlands 2 is an RPG shooter, but in its soul, it is all about character customization. So right off the bat, there are 4 main character types. Well, all 4 of them have one massive special ability. The Gunzerker, who can, at any time, dual-wield machine guns. There's Zero, who is the assassin, who, when you use his special ability, a decoy version of himself pops up and starts, like, using katana blades randomly at people.
The Siren does phase lock.
Which, by the way, when I saw on paper, I was like, hold somebody up in the air. Then I played her. Holy balls.
Really good.
That may very well be my favorite character so far.
She's mine, too.
Though, you get the Commando, and his special ability, which is amazing, is to be able to throw down a machine gun turret. In the last game, there were also four people. There was the soldier who had a turret, but a big problem was you would throw the turret down and you would accidentally throw it in the wrong place. You couldn't pick it up. They fixed that. The Commando, you can pick up the turret and place it down other places. You know, we should talk about the bad guys.
Yeah, it seems like you're pretty much up against the cast of Mad Max in this entire thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of S&M issues.
They got a little bit of everything.
They got a little bit of everything. A little bit
Fire
of everything.
breathers, bully mogs,
Skags are back. The racks are back, which I hate.
Are those awful bird things?
The bird things,
I
yeah.
hate those things. Well, the thing that I really like about these, the characters themselves are extremely customizable. Not only do you have these special powers, but you can go into your skill tree set and set your skills however you want to play that particular character. So I'm playing as Zero, the assassin, and I'm going to jump in here and show you guys how cool I am.
Oh wow, you are just going balls in. Okay, here we go. All right, well I'm playing the Commando, and I will do the same thing by popping a squat with my turret right down there on the ground. Oh look, there's something in the middle, and it's shooting people in the face holes. Look, I'm a huge fan of the co-op experience. For me, doing anything with friends is so much better than just doing it by myself. There's some things that are fairly decent by myself, but for the most part, I want people to share in my adventures.
Oh, come on.
All right, hold on. I can get there.
Come
Wait,
on.
are you currently being blowtorched by some guy?
That would be me.
Okay, because there's 2 guys with blowtorches. Which one is you?
The one that just
here I am. I'm here. Oh, I was just about to get you.
Where were you?
I was so close to getting you.
Ass.
I don't know about you, but I am literally spent. That is gaming at its finest. Killing, role-playing, looting, stealing, action.
I could not agree more. Borderlands 2 lives up to the hype and is definitely well worth the gajillion dollars it is forecasted to
Yeah,
make.
if you are currently sitting on the fence, get your butt off of that fence, get in line, get yourself a copy.
You won't be sorry. Where do we park?
Still ahead, we've got whiskey and news. We take a trip to a Portland distillery, and the feed finds out why everyone hates the maps in Apple's iOS 6.
All the news you need to know.
It's Thursday, September 20th, and here are your top stories. If you're an Internet Explorer user, listen up. Now, earlier this week, we found out about a huge hole in the browser's security, and I mean huge. It left about 47% of users at risk of having hackers remotely install malicious code on their computers and completely take over their PCs. Well, today, Microsoft made good on its promise to quickly fix the problem and announced it will release a patch tomorrow. Now, everyone should install this. It's as simple as visiting the Microsoft Security Response Center's website. And if you already have automatic updates on your PC, Microsoft says you don't need to do anything. It will make the update for you. Next, Apple is facing some tough criticism today after the release of its iOS 6 map app. That's because some heavily advertised features like turn-by-turn GPS and interactive 3D maps, they aren't really working. Twitter has been flooded with criticism over missing shops, restaurants, roads, and landmarks. One guy says he tried to call a local taxi company and instead reached a taxidermist. Landmarks like New York's Brooklyn Bridge loaded misplaced and dropped in the center of the city. And Ireland's Minister for Justice actually released a statement saying the app is dangerous after it misidentified a residential area called Airfield as an airport. Yeah, some users are begging over Twitter to revive Google Maps, which is especially bad for Apple considering Google released an updated map app for Androids yesterday. And finally, if you want to have some sexy times with a lady over a webcam and you live in the Philippines, you might be in trouble because the island nation has just passed a law making cyber sex illegal. Yeah, it's part of a massive anti-cyber crime legislation that also outlaws spam and cyber squatting, which is when a person buys a trademarked web domain that they sit on until they can resell it for big bucks. But it seems the main purpose of this law is to crack down against questionable webcam girl businesses. It says anyone caught engaging in cyber sex faces a maximum sentence of 6 months in prison and a $6,000 fine. Wow. I'm Sarah Underwood, and you've just been fed. And now, here's some Weston Scott trivia. When he isn't shooting guns, he's drinking on the job. What could go wrong?
Now, looking around here at the scenery at McMenamins Cornelius Pass Roadhouse Distillery, you would think you're in some type of fairy tale, or that this path might lead to a gingerbread house. But you know what? For me, it's even cooler. It's a whiskey distillery.
With an impressive collection of brew pubs, microbreweries, and hotels, Portland's own McMenamins is an alcohol-fueled empire. But it all starts in places like this humble cabin in the woods.
So, Barton, give us a little history on McMenamins Cornelius Pass Roadhouse Distillery.
This barn is over 150 years old. It was built in 1855, which makes it the oldest agricultural building in Washington County. And this property started out as a farm by the Embry Farmstead in the 1800s. McMenamins acquired it in 1984. It became a restaurant and a brew pub, and then from there it just kept growing. We have this still that came out of France. It's over 100 years old. Everything's still new here, but everything is old.
I want to know about this whiskey, sir.
Well, this is a wheat-based whiskey. It's clear because it's never seen a barrel. It's completely unaged, kind of like a moonshine would be, but from wheat instead of from corn. Everything comes out of a still clear, and any color that's in a distilled spirit is either from a barrel or from something that's added to it later.
Break out the etiquette here. How should I be properly tasting this whiskey and drinking it?
As far as tasting like other spirits, you know, I think that you should nose it and taste it slowly, and then it's probably best to add a little water to it to bring out some of the flavors and taste it again. But as far as the proper way to drink whiskey, drink it how you like it. If you like ice, you like water, you're going to cover up some of the flavors, but if that's what you like, then that's the way you should drink it.
So you're saying it's okay if you're not a purist with this?
It's absolutely. I don't think there should be rules so much as how you drink your liquor. There's just rules as how you should behave after you drink your liquor.
It's very clean, and it has a kind of like a light bready taste. Very earthy.
And that would be from the wheat that we use, and that's why we use the wheat. We really like the flavors that we get from this still with the wheat, that breadiness and also the smoothness, and the mouthfeel comes from the wheat. Kind of feels like a full mouthful of whiskey.
Oh, it only gets better. So what's this giant tub, Barton?
This is what we call a mash tun, and this is where all the whiskey starts out, where we take malted barley, mix it with hot water. The hot water activates enzymes in the malt, and those enzymes break starches down into sugars. We're basically just taking long carbohydrate chains, breaking them down into sugars so that the yeast can ferment those and turn them into alcohol. We want to set that mash bed. They call it setting the bed. And you want that to happen. It's very important that it settles out and the grain finds an equilibrium.
Barton, I'm finding this to be very much like an adult Willy Wonka's factory. From your toes to your nose, you can follow the hose. This is where the whiskey goes.
On a brewery, they call this wort. Here we call it wash. But at this point, it's basically the exact same thing that you'd find in a beer brewery. This recipe would make a porter or an English strong ale.
Ah, it's great.
Liquid bread. Okay, so I've hooked up the sparge arm here, which is just a fancy name for a sprinkler head. And that's just basically going to rinse out all of this complicated sugar water that we've been spending all day making so that we get the maximum amount of sugar out of this grain bed.
The wash is done. It's coming through here and then filling up into this tank.
And during this process, you can see I'm bubbling oxygen into it. The oxygen helps the yeast cells to reproduce.
So how long will this tank stay filled?
And it'll ferment for about 4 days. And during that time, those sugars will all be converted to alcohol. The yeast will finish its job and settle to the bottom. And then what we get is a good, clean, fermented wash. We'll do 3 distillations and collect those 3 distillations, run them through the still for a second time. So the 4th day of the week would be what we call a high wine run. We'll collect that high wine. It is eventually what becomes the finished product. What makes this a Charente Alembic still is the shape and the proportions of this onion, pot, and its swan neck. Those are all crucial pieces to the puzzle.
Now, do the shapes affect the taste at all?
Absolutely. Every bit of the shape affects the flavor, and in a Scotch distillery, when they repair the pots that have been in use for sometimes 600 years, the coppersmith will actually reproduce dents because it is believed that even just that dent can affect the flavor.
So this is your favorite room, Barton?
This is my favorite room. You've been talking about smells all day, and the smells that come out of here are my favorite. You get the vanilla and the oak flavors. It smells more like a finished whiskey.
Oh.
Now you can see how this has picked up a lot of color from the barrel. It's no longer clear.
Barton, this color is totally different than the White Owl.
Absolutely, and that's all from the barrel. That charring process I was talking about caramelizes sugars in the wood, and then those caramels dissolve into the whiskey and give it that caramely color and also the sweetness. You're going to find some vanilla notes to it, some spicy notes to it that you didn't see in the White Owl. Well, cheers. That's a good day's work.
I'm tasting oaky vanilla overtone. That is delicious. Well, I've learned how to make whiskey now. I've learned how to drink it properly, and I've learned that whiskey supposedly means the water of life. I'm more dehydrated than I've ever been. I'm making whiskey. Or am I making magic?
Nice job, Weston. Stay tuned. Copper star Tom Weston Jones will tell us about solving crime in the 1800s. Hint, it involves stabbing old-timey pimps. Yeah, don't go anywhere.
What happens next?
Elisa's quiet evening at home is about to get interrupted. So what happens next? Is one of her friends playing a trick on her? Is it just the wind banging against the door? Or is the killer getting ready to make his move? Find out when we return.
What happens next?
Elisa's quiet evening at home is about to get interrupted. So what happens next? Is one of her friends playing a trick on her? Is it just the wind banging against the door? Or is the killer getting ready to make his move? House at the End of the Street, starring the Hunger Games' Jennifer Lawrence, in theaters this Friday.
Can I tell you, that got all of us? All of us. All right, back in old-timey New York, cops did not have to respect your right to remain silent or your right not to get punched in the face. Yeah, I'm going to be very polite to this man. Please welcome, from Copper, Tom Weston Jones. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Look at you. You clean up so nicely.
Oh, thank you.
You're all grubby on Copper.
A lot of dirt.
Do you ever take a bath before coming to set?
Well, weirdly, it's amazing how much work has to go in to make you look like crap.
Yeah.
More often than not, I wouldn't shower before it because you wake up at about 4 or 5 in the morning to go to set. And you just roll out of bed and go, but then it takes 20 minutes to make you look like you just haven't washed.
Right.
Which is really strange.
Artfully mussed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had muck under my fingernails for such a long time.
Right.
After the shoot. I think I still had it about 2 weeks after. Maybe that's just because I have really bad hygiene.
Well, but it's good muck. It's muck you want to keep.
Yeah.
This is a great show.
Memorable muck.
Yeah, you're doing a very good show.
Thank you.
Now you get in a fight in that scene. You get in a lot of fights in this show. Sometimes with brass knuckles, sometimes not. Have you ever gotten into a real brawl in real life?
Yeah, I have when I was a kid. I've been bottled before. I got glass in my face.
What?
Bottled before.
You had somebody break a bottle in your face?
Yeah, glass. I've got a scar here that's
Who would
quite
do that
old.
to Tom Weston Jones?
Someone who really didn't like me at the time.
Really?
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I was always a bit of an underdog and a bit stupid, actually, because I went and saw Gladiator.
Yeah.
You know, the Russell Crowe film.
Oh, sure.
And I had one of those scheduled school fights, and we went to this place called Thunderball.
Excuse me, what?
Thunderball. It's like this tacky bowling alley.
Right.
I grew up in Dubai.
Okay.
It was really weird. So we all got in this circle, and because I'd seen Gladiator, I got on my knees and started rubbing dirt into my hands, thinking that somehow I could sort of have Russell Crowe's spirit.
Yeah, commune with him.
And then I just got beaten so badly.
Yeah. No,
taught me a lesson at least.
Well, that's good.
Definitely.
And now look at you. Here you are.
Yeah, using brass knuckles and everything.
There it is. There it is. Now, guns in the 1800s were not like the Glocks that we see now. Did you have to train to like load those old-timey deals?
Yeah, we had quite a long process of dealing with the guns. We did a lot of firing, but the thing is that the guns took so long to load. They took 15 minutes to load the normal Colt or Remington, so it's not like, you know, the standard fight scene where you just, you know, lock and load it again and go.
Yeah.
You actually have to maybe tell them to wait a minute.
Yeah.
Stay there while I work out how to use this thing. But yeah, it was amazing. You have to use like gunpowder, then a small piece of paper, then a ball bearing. And then you have to put on these tiny little firing caps, which are so small, like tiny little nipples that you put on the back of the gun. And more often than not, they didn't work. But they were very effective when they did, actually. They were actually relatively precise. But it makes it very interesting when you're doing a scene because the directors say, just go with it. If your gun doesn't work, it probably wouldn't have. So you just run with it and hope for the best.
We should go back to that time.
Yeah. Well, it means if you actually go into a fight, you know something bad could happen. You probably will be the underdog.
Yeah.
Which is quite exciting, I guess.
Yeah. You're in town for the Emmys, first of all, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And you just got to ring the bell on the New York Stock Exchange?
Yeah, I did, yeah. That was an unbelievable experience. I never thought I'd ever get to do anything like that, really.
Right.
And, I mean, it's because BBC America, they're so nice. They do so many good things. But I was up there about to ring it, and I thought two things. One, I should probably tell my mum and dad.
Oh, sure.
Because it's quite a big deal.
Yeah, they'll want to know.
Yeah, and I told them probably about a day afterwards, and they thought it was pretty interesting. And then also I was so worried that a British person is going to just completely bring the American Stock Exchange to its knees just by pressing the wrong button.
Pressing the stop button?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pressing the don't press this button. New York Stock Exchange off is what I was worried about.
But you did it?
Yeah, did it. Didn't. It all went to plan.
Yeah.
Arto Asando, who plays Matthew Freeman, he was there as well, and he got to bang the actual gavel and everything. And I was worried that he'd probably smash that as well.
This is fun.
Yeah.
You get to see the very best of America.
Yeah.
Including Comic-Con.
There's a lot to see.
You just went to Comic-Con for the first time,
I did, yeah.
What'd you think?
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. I mean, I'm a bit of a bat dork in a way. My brother got me really into graphic novels when I was younger, and also a lot of Alan Moore's. The last graphic novel I read was Neonomicon by Alan Moore, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever read in my life. But yeah, going to Comic-Con was amazing, and the dedication of the people that go there is unbelievable. And that's something that I think everyone who experiences taking a show there is kind of in awe of, because it's their way of giving it back. It's their way of saying, well done, we love you, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can do nothing but appreciate it.
The next time you go, there are going to be people dressed like you. You realize that, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
no, it's for, you know that that's going to happen.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
Well, best of luck with the show.
Thank you very much.
Tom Weston Jones for hanging out with us. Copper airs Sundays on BBC America. Up next, we sent Matt Myra into a dangerous junkyard with the new Canon T4i digital SLR camera. We'll find out if he's still alive after the break.
We sent Matt Myra into a terrifying post-apocalyptic wasteland to play with an awesome camera.
And only one of them survived.
Wait, really?
Well, I heard apocalypse and I just assumed.
All right, we are here in this junkyard to review a camera, and I figured what better place to do it than where we're shooting the Borderlands 2 package. Now, this is the Canon T4i. You might recognize it because it looks a hell of a lot like the Canon T3i. And that's because it's almost exactly the same. Some minor details are changed, though, like the button layout. Buttons protrude out further than they ever have before. Let's talk about some ports. It's like every Canon you've ever come to know and love. It's got your SD card slot right here. On the other side, we're going to have mini HDMI out, as well as AV out, and then a connection for a remote, as well as a microphone input. What separates this from all the other Canon DSLRs is not the fact that this LCD moves, but it's the fact that it is a touch LCD display. In viewfinder mode, you can tap to focus. So whatever you're on, if you say, oh, I want to actually focus on the mountain in the background, you can just tap the mountain on the screen, and what that's going to do is bring the autofocus motor on the lens right into focus with that mountain. It's a huge bonus. Now, enough about the design of this camera. Let's go take some pictures. I would run, but I'm much too lazy for that, so I'll just walk. All right, now I know you're thinking, how's the picture quality? Well, I'll tell you, it's actually pretty amazing. It's got an 18 megapixel image sensor. What's really improved on this camera is the speed. First shots, 5 per second. Now, the other thing Canon has improved on this is a 9-point autofocus system. The auto mode is fantastic. You can just snap and not worry about it. Our sound guy is looking good. Let's talk video. The best thing about this camera, of course, is its cinema quality video, and this doesn't really disappoint that much. You saw the Borderlands 2 package we just showed you. Guess what? Some of that was shot with this very camera. The autofocus works pretty well when you're shooting someone in the foreground. However, when you go to landscape, you want a big, wide, sweeping shot. This gets a little confused as to what to focus on. That's one of the only drawbacks of this camera shooting video. Otherwise, it looks great. All right, you can get the Canon T4i for $11.99. That's with an 18 135mm lens. I know what you're asking, Matt Meyer, what's the verdict? Here it is. It's a 4.5 out of 5. Nearly perfect. This is one of the best DSLRs you can get in this price range. It takes fantastic pictures. The one place where I dock this camera, though, is the video. I think the autofocus motor needs to be improved a little bit more. But other than that, it's a fantastic buy. If you're looking for a DSLR, Canon T4i.
Thank you, Junkyard. Yep. Now it is time for today's epic fail.
Yep. This is what happens when you don't allow hookers to hang around hotel lobbies.
He's getting ready. Whitey's confused. Don't.
Stay down, Whitey.
Yeah.
Stay down.
You have been failed, sir.
Yes, indeed.
That's a show.
Yeah, it is. Woo,
Good
thanks.
one.
Thanks to Tom Weston Jones. Handsome
He
fella.
was very handsome. Why didn't you introduce me?
He's a good looking. There's still plenty of time.
Okay.
You could probably still catch him.
Okay.
If you go to the green room.
Okay.
He's really nice.
Okay, you think you'll like me?
I think, well, he's going to like one of us. Let's go find out. So thanks to Matt Myra.
Yes, Matt Myra.
To, let's see, Weston Scott.
Love that guy.
This was an action-packed show.
It was.
Jessica Chobot. Alex Albrecht.
You're missing someone.
Sarah Underwood for hosting with me. Candace Bailey, we hope that you are on the mend.
We do. We really, really do. Get
We
well
really do.
soon, lover pants.
All right.
All right.
Big plans for Emmy weekend?
Vegas again. I'm going to go to Vegas. Get crazy.
Excellent.
What about you?
I'm going to sit out by the pool and read a book. I'm 100 years old. That's why I'm going to do that. So, yeah.
Good. Well, you want to check in with the Twitter wall really
That's
fast?
absolutely checking with the Twitter wall.
Good. Pick your
Chris
favorite.
Green sometimes feels like the banana on AOTS. Don't we all? Just hanging there. Eddie Stake says, copper's okay, but palladium is better. Oh, the show isn't about the periodic table? Never mind. You got some smart fans. Y'all got some smart fans around here.
You trickster, you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Somebody wants to know whether you're going to be on the next season of Big Brother. Let's start that now.
I would like to try out for that. I will, if I don't have a job here.
Take her. Take her. She's real good.